It's live now.
All right. My bad. We had technical difficulties there. But yeah, back again. Welcome to Birdgang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Birdgang 31. I got the big homie Mike in from Philly Talk Podcast. How you doing, my dog?
Hey, I'm hanging in there, bro. Glad to talk some Eagles with you. Bird Gang 31. Who else better to talk about Bird Gang with?
Right. I feel you. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it, man. How you been? How you been doing today?
Hey, I've been pretty good trying to get off all this Twitter Eagle Nation overblown. The Deshaun Watson thing is just wild that they take words that Adam Schefter said and twisted it to like, oh, the Eagles are going to go get Deshaun Watson. No, we're the best equipped team if that is the end result, barring 2021. You know what I mean?
Right? I don't feel like the Eagles are even thinking about it right now. I don't think any team is really thinking about Deshaun Watson at the moment. He can't play. He's not going to be playing on nobody's team this year. So it's like, why even get excited for it, even thinking about it? You know?
Exactly. He's definitely in a bad situation. And how could you not be anticipating hurt season with everything he's showing? Whether you have concerns or not from certain games last year, he's putting in the work right in front of our very eyes. And I'm ready to see what he can do on the field if his demeanors and intangibles can translate.
Right? He is grinding out there with all the receivers. You know what I'm saying? You see him everywhere, working on his own mechanics, working on everybody else's mechanics. Man, he's a beast, and he's showing he's a leader. He's definitely a leader. So I don't even like we were talking about this earlier, man. It's like some people doubt. They keep saying they need to see more. They need to see more. They need to see more. And I understand it to a certain degree, but he showed me enough. I don't know how you feel about that one.
Yeah, in the sense of the upside, I am totally on board. We saw him do things that you are just like, wow, like highlight real plays. Now the thing that he has to show me is can he be consistent, and that is with getting his passer completion percentages up because that is important for a quarterback. Let's be real. But we did see the upside, and for a 4-game sample size in a COVID year, when everything around him was trash,
The B
I
team.
think he did amazing.
Yeah, I'm saying that too. Like he did it with the B team. That's what I call him last year. That was not an A squad going. He was with the B team, the backups, and he still lit it up. The first 2 game breaking records. It's like, come on now. They want to say the losses, but even the Washington game, you can't really give it to him. He only played a half there. We should have won the Arizona game. You know what I'm saying? If our defense didn't stink it up at the end. So, hey, man, her season is here, and I am 100% on board of that train. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know that. Shout out to your video you did before you got into these live streams where you broke down and showed some of his arm strength and certain angles that he threw. That was good stuff.
Yeah, thank you, man. Much appreciation. I'm just trying to get out there, make some good videos, do some good collabs. Keep supporting these Eagles as the best I can, man. The best I can. What do you think about the talk about someone in the locker room saying that they don't think Nick's a leader?
Um, I don't really think it holds much weight. Think about it like this. You get a new boss, you're going to question certain things. You're going to be like, wow, he's new. What can he do? But that doesn't necessarily you don't mean you don't think he can command the troops and all that. And you got to look at it like this. There's 80 players on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them guys ain't going to be there. It could be a handful of guys who are questioning it if they're questioning it. But the main guys like Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, Miles Sanders, all coming out calling it cap. So I'm going to go that route and agree with them. Michael Robinson, like, who really are you? Who do you know in the locker room? And
Right.
again, it's at the point where it's like one of our question marks is, can Nick Sirianni do it? And as a fan, we have that. Of course, it's going to be in the back of some players' heads. But at the end of the day, if you're willing to go in a battle, that's all that matters. And I believe these guys are. You see the energy's up. They're excited.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see shortly if he can turn the ship around. So it's nothing to be worried about. It's not like they're saying he doesn't know football. He's a clown. He's this. If your biggest thing is, I got to see. Well, we all got to see. He's not it's not like he was a head coach for a team and he's coming here. You know what I mean? He's a brand new head coach. And I believe even in his heart of hearts, he believes in himself, but he wants to prove it to himself too. So it's nothing to be worried about. I feel like the Eagles are in great shape going into this season, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm the same. And I think all the media doing is lighting a fire that no one's going to be able to put out this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to get our quarterback fired up, you got our coach fired up, you got our receivers fired up, you got our running back, Mr. Miles Sanders fired up. You know what I'm saying? Whew. You got to watch out, man. Who's going to stop our boys, man? Who's going to stop them? You know, like I did my predictions. Like I said, I was 12-5 is what I predict we're going to do this year. You know, that's a high 12-5. You know, like, because I was looking at it. Besides Brady and the Bucks and KC, like we theoretically could beat all the rest of the teams on the schedule, and I even think we might even be able to beat those guys.
Yeah, I gotta always account for some just letdowns. You come off a big win, something that you shouldn't have done, and you get one of them stinkers. It happens to all teams. You're gonna see upsets throughout the league, throughout the seasons, throughout each week. I mean, but yeah, the question marks we have, to me, after doing all the due diligence we do behind the scenes, I feel good about them. But I can only feel good to a certain extent until I see it. And when you do have new everything, as much as it benefits us not being able to be scouted as much, it also plays a role in, how much chemistry do these guys have from coaching the players and stuff. So I wish the easy part of our schedule was early so we can get rolling. And the hardest part of our schedule is the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think that for sure. We're definitely gonna have some tight games. Like, I don't feel like there's gonna be too many blowouts. I think there's gonna be the games we lose, we're gonna be fighting. You know what I'm saying? And that's all we can really ask for as Philly fans. As long as we're in every game, whether we lose, win, or draw, we in there and we showed them that we're here to stay and we're here to play some ball.
Yeah, that's important. We were in a lot of close games last year too. The Ravens, the Steelers, Bengals, because we tied with them. We just got to make sure we come out on top. The fourth quarter got to be our quarter. And if you wanted to throw a complaint on Jalen, it was the fact that he started games so hot and finished them a little bit slow. And that's something that he's going to have to take control of, as long with Nick Sirianni, and call the game certain ways. I mean, we were up 17-3 in Dallas, and we continue to throw the ball with Jalen Hurts. He struggled. He threw picks. He wasn't reading his progressions, but that was a game you should have tried to close out on the ground.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that Dallas low-key was 11th and second and pass defense, but 32nd, dead last in rush defense, and we didn't exploit it, which was foolish of us.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the games we could have won last year if it wasn't for the coaches. Like, we should have ran the ball a lot more. Miles should have got at least 50 to 100 more carries than he did last season. You know what I'm saying? Like, use the guy. I remember some games he only get like 3-4 carries in the game, man. And it's like, how are you going to have a premier back like that and not give him the rock?
Exactly. It puts pressure on the quarterback, whether it was Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts. And I just think there was a boatload of issues from top to bottom. And some of the top issues are still there, being Howie Roseman and his control on the roster and how free the coach has to do things, say things. But I think a guy like Howie, even though he's a little bit, wired, he has to learn from his mistakes, and the total collapse of a franchise quarterback and a Super Bowl winning coach, if that don't teach you, nothing will teach you.
Right? No, true that, man. So give me your bold predictions for the Eagles this year. Give me like 3 of them. 3 bold predictions you think that
bold predictions. Well, I believe this NFC East is going to be a little bit open. Not a little bit, a lot open. The Giants upgraded, but Daniel Jones still not the guy. On paper, the Cowboys look good, but what can go wrong will go wrong. I got to see how Dak ankles is. And Washington, I believe in their defense, but I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback if Ryan Fitzpatrick can't keep up. He's not known to go through a whole season. So the Eagles have their issues, but so does everybody else in the East. So my bold prediction is that we compete and end up winning this division. If we do, I see us winning it because of a struggling division. I see us winning around 9 wins, give or take. We can easily go more. I just have to eventually cross the T's and dot the I's with Nick Sirianni and this group. Not just Nick, Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, Kevin Patullo. I mean, I can never say his name right. But I think we're going to compete, and to me, that's good. If you go from last to first, whether it's the sorry NFC East, that is great. And again, you're talking about a first-year sample size with everything being new. So as long as the trajectory is going up, I'm with it. So bold prediction is we compete for the division and end up winning it. Second bold prediction will be that Devontae Smith gets 1,000 yards.
Yes.
I wanted to keep saying around 900, but the more it gets closer, you know what I mean? My fandom comes out, and I am big on the guy. I'm going to say he's going to just break 1,000, not too many, like 1,020 something close. But that to me would be a great rookie season coming from a team that hasn't had a 1,000-yard wide receiver since, 14?
Yeah. It's been a long
And last but not least, our defense is going to be second in the NFL in total sacks, which is not the biggest bold prediction because we were third last year, but we're going to get better and go to second. I don't think we'll be first, but I got us being second in sacks.
Okay. Well, my bold prediction is a little bit bolder, I guess.
You got the bold prediction.
Bold prediction up in here, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying Hurts, dark horse, MVP candidate this year. In his first year starting. You know what I'm saying? He has enough weapons. I believe he has enough talent surrounded him to do the job. Because he's going to be getting some rushing yards. And look, Lamar Jackson don't usually throw for 300 and rush for 100. We already seen Hurts can do that. And if he can do it and Lamar won MVP off running the ball, you never know. That's one of my bold predictions. My next is going to be that Miles Sanders is going to the Pro Bowl. He's going to be a Pro Bowl back this year because Nick Sirianni is going to actually give him the ball. He's not going to be like Doug throwing the ball 50, 60 times a game. He's going to hand that ball off to Miles Sanders, and he's definitely going to take care of what he got to take care of, He had all them long runs last year. Now imagine a couple more of those long runs. You're looking at maybe like 1,500-yard season. We got to think. All stats are going to go up because of the extra game. That's an extra couple of 100 yards for, quarterbacks. That's an extra like 100 or 200 yards for receivers and running backs. So, that's my second one. And then I was going big with the third one. Our defense is going to be the number one defense in the league. With that second CB being weak. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we even going to pick one up. Whether we pick one up or not, we're going to lead the league in defense this year. Turnovers, rushing, we're going to be the number one defense in the league.
The number one defense in the NFL.
Yeah. That's bold for you, baby.
That is bold. That's brolic. That's brave. That's triple B's.
Because you look at, like you said already, we were number 3 in sacks. And I believe that number is definitely going to go up this year. For sure, just because we have more talent on the defensive line now than we did have last year. And, big play Slay, he got his old number back, and I'm one of those firm believer in numbers, baby. When you got your number back, you do a little bit more magic, and I think he's going to have a couple of picks this year. We got Harris, who 2 years ago, he had led the league in the NFL in interceptions for Minnesota. And I think he's ready to show everybody that he's not done. He's not washed up. He's still a gamer. He's still a ball hawk. He's going to go out there and handle his business. So that's my big prediction, that putting those things together, the D-line, our young linebacking corps going to show up and show out this year. Eric Wilson coming over from Minnesota with all his 150-something tackles he had last year to go with Singleton and TJ Eric or whoever starts that other one. Probably going to be Edwards to start out, but, whatever.
Might be.
It's still young. And then the whole point, like we were saying, the coaches have to do their part for all this to happen. Nick said he's going to change it up every week. Gannon says he's going to change it up every week. They have to show that they can be competent enough to do that on a week-to-week basis, and that's why I give the record being so high, because if you are doing these things that you say you're going to do, teams won't be able to scout us really. Because what are you going to look at? The game that they played against a Russian team, when you're a passing team, that's not going to help you out. The game, vice versa, you know what I'm saying? Like games, different situation, different talent levels, different skill sets. You're not going to be able to figure us out. It's going to take you at least to like mid-season, or maybe one of our division teams might figure us out from the first game because, we probably have something similar going into the second game against them. But other than that, when are you going to have that chance to really, well, the Eagles are doing this. Well, next week we're doing this. Next week, because we have the pieces. You got Smith, you got Rager, you got Hightower, Watson. You got the three-headed monster back there, running back, no matter which three you want to put back there, whether you use Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders, and Howard, Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders, and what's his name, Kerryon Johnson?
Carry on.
Or even do all four of them. Let Howard get some carries. Let Johnson get some carries. Let them all do it. But at the end of the day, that's a lot of different people to stop, and we got a lot of speed on our offense.
Yeah, I agree. We definitely can attack a defense a multitude of ways, and that's where I'm going to count on Nick Sirianni using his wide receiver magic, being an ex-wide receiver, really catering to that position, moving them around, getting them in space, scheming them open. A guy like Jalen Rager, who's not the guy you really want going up and catching it, even though he has that ability. You get the ball in his hand and let it get that yak. You get blockers in front of him. Guys like Malata, Jason Kelsey to the next level. You got Dallas Goedert, who's a great blocking tight end. I'm ready to see these guys get the ball in space and then take shots sparingly. And like I said, I'm ready to see Quez Watkins get some run. I believe he's having a great offseason, really putting in the work to his body, taking all the little things serious. And I'm ready to see Quez not start. I still don't think he'll crack the top three, but I think, in the first 3 to 5 games, you're going to see him as that fourth-ish receiver, fourth, fifth, but get some plays. And when the upside is shown, they're not going to go back from it. You know what I mean?
Right. That's why I made my video on Quest for number 3, baby. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going out there. I think he's going to ball out. You know what I'm saying? And he might beat Fulgham. Like, even like from the little videos that you see online of Quez working and like the things he's able to do and bring to a offense compared to like when you're seeing Fulgham working. It's like Fulgham's that big body. Yes. Are we going to do the big body thing again? I was just talking to Joe with it. Are we doing the big body thing again? Or are we going to try something new? For me, I'd rather go with something new. Speed, 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 speed. You know what I'm saying? Get Quez out there. Because if you see them post corners that he was running, compared to like Fulgham wouldn't be able to run half as fast. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be able to get open half as fast. I don't think. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
Like, he's more of a bigger body. We can use him in the end zone, in the red zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he should be in. Getting them red zone touchdowns. Boom, boom, boom. Lighting them up. Him and Goddard. That's where they're going to be the key for our offense this year. Is in that red zone area. But on the out, from deep, it's all about let Rager, Smith, and Quez do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bring the little rookie Gainwell out of the backfield to the fourth slot. Now you got 4 receiver sets. When you think you start out with 3 receiver sets. You know what I'm saying? Do some stuff like that. Mix it up and tear them up. Light them up, man.
Light them up. And that's what I want to see. Doug got too complacent, too vanilla, and it really showed. And it affected us big time. You got guys like KJ Wright for the Seattle Seahawks coming out and straight saying, like, you guys show nothing. You guys show the same thing. We knew what you guys were doing. Yeah. And it was stuff like that really handicapped these players. And so it's hard for me to really judge anybody's bad season last year for the simple fact that I think it started from the top and worked its way into coaching. And once you got that dysfunction, it's hard for really anybody to get their feet under them because they're always 2 steps forwards, 3 steps backwards because of the coaching staff is handcuffing you.
Mm-hmm. And even Carson, Carson was just trying to make too big of plays. Like I said, tell everybody, I feel like after the Super Bowl and after that injury, Carson was trying to win the Super Bowl on every throw. Sometimes he could have took the little short check down. He was just chucking it. Boom, we're going deep for touchdown. I think our plays this year, we're going to have big plays, but they're not going to be because we just chucked it 60 yards down the field. It's going to be because we gave him that 15-yard slant to Devontae, a post route, deep ends, stuff like that these playmakers are going to get that yak. yak yardage all day. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're gonna see. Like, oh, you thought it was a 5 yard slam, but boom, touchdown. You know what I'm saying? I watched him do it here in Alabama. I think we're gonna start out probably spreading it out to a bunch of different players to see who is ready to step up and take up that spot. You know what I'm saying? Be who want to be that elite receiver for our team. And if no one steps up, I'm pretty sure Devontae will.
Oh yeah, I think he's going to command that locker room. He has some big weight, some heavy weight on his shoulders. He's a rookie, but he's still coming into the league with a Heisman. And a receiver in college hasn't won the Heisman in 2 decades. With that being said, he's coming out and he's looking at careers like Julio Jones. Just look at the Alabama wide receivers that came out. Julio, great career. Amari Cooper, pretty darn solid career. Calvin Ridley, starting out strong. Jerry Jeudy, successful first year in the league in an ugly system in Denver, still like 700 plus yards. And so he's the one. Julio didn't win it. Amari didn't win it. Ridley didn't. This is the kid that won it. Out of, Ruggs. And look at even Jalen Waddle, who's drafted before him. So you're talking about a long list of great A top wide receivers who didn't win the Heisman, but are either having great NFL careers or who are picked ahead of him. And with that being said, you got to come out like, whoa, hold up. First of all, Waddle was picked in front of me. Wrong mistake. Julio Jones and all these guys had a great career. Well, watch mine winning the best collegiate player ESPY award, whatever that one was called, having the Heisman. I mean, the pressure's on. A subpar season from him is going to raise a lot of eyes just because of what he accomplished and his role on his team, probably being, the guy who gets the most targets at the receiver position.
But even with the pressure, man, like I said, I'm here in Alabama, man. I watched the boy play. He played for Nick Saban. Like in Alabama, Nick Saban was like a god. And he does whatever he wants. He gets whatever he wants. And he's very hard on his boys out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he already know if you don't do it, I got 5 other players here to do it. You know what I'm saying? They got some more receivers coming out next year that looking good. Billingsley looks good. Mechie's looking good. You know what I'm saying? Like, these boys going to come out and play. They going to keep dropping them. It's either you going to play or you going to find yourself playing somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? That's how Saban is, man. He gets all the number 1 recruits from every school. So it's like that's never the problem. So I think the pressure's he's already had the pressure. You know what I'm saying? He had the pressure. He done delivered when Jalen Waddle went down. Hey, coach, don't worry about Jalen. Because Jalen Waddle, I was higher on Jalen. Like I wanted Jalen Waddle, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I wanted Waddle over Devontae. But to get Devontae in a first round pick, because he has more, to me, Jalen had more upside. Like, because he was like the number 1 punt returner in the nation. He seems like he's faster than Devontae Smith, and I just
he's faster. But see, that's the thing. I think he offers you more big play ability, but not sustainability. I mean, he's thicker and he's bigger than him, like that. But I mean, when it comes to pure hands and route running, it's Devontae. But again, you talk about like a 75-yard bomb. Who's more likely to have more? Looks like Jalen Waddle's that guy.
But even Jalen did do a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was leading the season before he got hurt. Like, he was the leading catcher on that team. It wasn't Devontae. It was Jalen. Jalen, was
how many games did he play before he got hurt?
3, maybe. I think it was 3.
And he was ahead of him?
Yeah, and he was the main target for Alabama, was Jalen Waddle.
But I can say this, though. Last year when it was Jeudy, Ruggs, Waddle, and Devontae Smith led him in yards.
Yeah, that's true. But Devontae did his thing with all of them. Like we were saying, too. He's played with a lot of them. Ruggs, Jeudy, Waddle, and all of them. He definitely still put in his work. I'm not saying that he's a slouch by any. You know what I'm saying? I want him personally, Waddle, just for that explosion, But the fact that we got a first-round pick in Devontae, okay. That makes a lot more sense and is a lot more smarter move. Like, Devontae's more of a, like they say, a route runner. He's a route running specialist out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, his foot action is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I seen him turn. I was watching one video. He did a little da-da-da, and the cornerback was going one way and the other way, and then, like, wide open. And I can see him because, like we are talking about, there's not that many elite cornerbacks we're going to be going against this year, like super elite to the points of like, oh, Jalen Ramsey's elite. You know what I'm saying? Like Howard's elite. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Gilmore's elite. Like there's not that many. Patrick Peterson, he's still he's still somewhat elite too. You know what I'm saying?
He's
So
all right.
not that many like elite shutdown corners that he's gonna have to go against this year. He's gonna go against some good ones, but he's not gonna be going against the elite. And I think he can eat up all of them normal corners.
Yeah, I'm ready to see. I will say this though, I hate the Giants, but James Bradbury showed me a lot last season. I think he marked himself inside the top 10 easily at cornerback. I wouldn't say too high, but I'm ready to see that battle 2 times this season.
Yeah, Bradbury, yeah, but he's a good one. But I'm saying I don't even think he's even like the stats, like you said. I don't think he's up there with like the super top dog that you have to know for facts that when Devontae Smith go against him. Because I think once you're elite as a receiver, no one can stop you. That's what we looked at. Everybody gives Slade big problems, big talking shit about Slade last year. And what? Slade got burned by the best receivers in the game.
It's
Devontae
made for the offense.
Huh?
The game's changed. It favors the wide receivers so much.
I'm like, and then I was just saying those same guys that Slade got burned by, who stopped him?
Yeah, barely anybody.
Yeah.
When you get a wide look, even Darrelle Revis at times needed a safety over him. Not every possession, not every wide receiver. But, Randy Moss called him out. Like, I could play defense, too, if I have a safety over top. You know what I mean? There were certain guys. Now, Revis Island was the island. Deion Sanders did his thing. Revis did his thing. And we still got some guys who can legitimately shut it down, but you're not shutting it down for 4 quarters, all 15 minutes. You're going to get some help, and that's where Jim Schwartz really lacked, helping out these guys. And Darius Slay was banged up a lot last year. I mean, there was multiple games where he left the game for a good 3 to 5 minutes and he manned up and came through, and I salute him for that. But what version were we getting of Darius Slay when he came back in? What version were we getting of Darius Slay the second part of the season? Because that's when he struggled.
True that. Out of these CBs that are out there, and now Richard Sherman just threw his name right out of the hat. What was he thinking?
Oh my God,
idiot!
Yeah,
you haven't even got your new. You should have waited to do anything messed up to get this contract first. But no, you're your own agent. So how you gonna be sitting there? Well, I know I'm in court right now, but I will get off, and you can add me to your team. I'll still be it. No, you're already on the back half of your career. Period. You know what I'm saying? You had a decent
super
season
back half.
Huh?
The big back half. He's like 33, right?
Yeah, he's up there. But for you trying to go out and find a new team and make some last big paycheck, you just totally. And I don't even know if this stuff's true. I don't see him coming back to the league at all. What about you?
No. If all of this is true, he's in big trouble. If this is all true, I mean, you got the burglary, the domestic violence, a possible hit and run, just a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I think he's done it. And look, regardless if he's innocent to proven guilty. So shout out to him. Hopefully a lot of things surface. I'm wishing the best for him, but he got to be better than that. Come on, my guy.
Yes, you're a millionaire already. So what are you doing? What is he stealing?
Exactly.
It might be with OJ. I'm stealing all my memorabilia back. Like, what are you stealing?
I'll buy all new ones. You know what I mean? Sign this $6 million contract real quick. Sherman, go get your new stuff. You know what I mean? What are you doing?
Right? It's crazy. So out of the cornerbacks that are left on this free agent, who do you want the most? I'm gonna tell you straight up, I want Howard. I want him. When the last time you seen a cornerback get 10 picks, baby?
But he's not a free agent. You said on the free agent list or just overall?
Overall, that can get. He's one of the names out there floating around saying that you can probably get a trade with Miami for him.
Yeah, but wait. How did this ever come about? I remember I was in a live stream one time, right? This was like a month and a half ago, and somebody came in my live stream and said, "Do you want Xavier Howard?" And I read Xavier, and I automatically thought Xavier Rhodes, and I was like, "No, he's old. I don't want him." And then they explained to me how. I said, "Oh snap! I was totally overlooking it." But how did this come about? Like, was the reports that he was upset with Miami?
Yeah, he wants more money.
He wants more money.
Yeah, he had re-signed his contract, right? But then he played. He feels like he outplayed his contract. You know, especially after last year. You know, when you do big things like 10 interception, you know, you come in the next year like, hey, I outplayed that. I need some more money, and that's basically what he's doing in Miami. He's like, and then Miami gave more money to Jones. So like, how this other guy that don't got 10 picks got more money than me?
Xavier Howard. How many years has he been in the league now?
Isn't he only like 4 or 3?
So
4?
he still hasn't signed. He's not even off his first contract yet.
I know they said, or maybe I know he's young. He's like 25 or 26, somewhere in that area. And I know he just restructured the contract they said 2 years ago. So whatever that was.
So that maybe that. Here's the thing, you know, when was he a first round pick?
That's a good question. I didn't follow Miami like that.
Well, regardless, if you're a first round pick, you can have up to 5 years. Any other pick is 4 years. But just say he was in the league for 4 years, right? And they loved his play so much, so they extended him early. That's why sometimes you want to bet on yourself. Here's the thing. If your GM comes to you and says, bro, you're a rookie. I mean, your rookie season was good. Your sophomore season, you were good. Your junior season was good. We want to extend you early. Here's the deal. Bang. They're going to pay you equivalent to your play already. You're happy because next week you can go out and get injured. You know what I mean? And there goes the bag. So you like, yeah, let me do it. We should sign Dallas Goedert to an extension now, because if he goes out and has a top 4 tight end season, well, he just earned himself more money.
Yes.
So you can't get mad if you sign the extension now, because it goes both ways. If they sign Xavier Howard and he got hurt, or he didn't play up to par, he got the bag. But now that he played up to par, he didn't bet on himself, so I can see he wanted more money. But Miami's becoming a very decently run organization. And when you have yourself a CB1, whether you count him a CB2 or not, when you have yourself a young stud, he was a second-round pick, said Brenda. So they had to extend him early, so that's probably why he wants more money. And he came off a 10 touchdown season. I think, you know, Miami got to be telling him, listen, you ball out this year, which you possibly can. We got you. Relax, bro. But it's hard for a good organization. And Miami was a dumpster fire for a minute. But now with the new coaching staff and new people running it, they don't look to someone like to be foolish. You know what I mean? And so as much as I would love Xavier Howard, I tried to keep my brain away from all that, because, you know, it sucks when you get into it and then it's like, nope. You know what I mean? But it's like, what is the incentive? This is a passing league. Offensive linemen are a dime a dozen. I mean, not dime. Offensive linemen are valuable. You know what I mean? And cornerbacks are valuable. You know what I mean? Listen, back in the day, quarterbacks were only throwing for 3,500, 4,000 yards max. Now every quarterback can almost throw for 4,000 or 5,000, because it's pass interference central. You can't touch them. You can't push them. And defenseless wide receiver, like, there's so much that goes into being a cornerback. It's hard. There's not many out there, and you need them. So it's like, all right, put it this way. If we had Xavier Howard, what could a team offer you to get him out? Would you not make it work money-wise? Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I would love him. You know what I mean? Stephon Gilmore's more of a better scenario, because he's older and Bill Belichick likes to let paper trade people or release them a year or two before they're too old and wasting money. But Xavier Howard in his prime, you know, that would be a bonehead move, and I would love it. Don't get me wrong. You know
I think we should give Miami their first round pick back. You know what I'm saying? And give them Zach Ertz or Barnett. You know, that clears some cap space. Give them the first round pick and bring him over here, because, you know, you have the money to re-sign the guy. If he, you know, like this guy said, Trey Rock, he led the league twice in picks. You know what I'm saying? So he's a big magnet. You know, he's a ball magnet. You know, and have him pair up with Big Play Slay, that'd be deadly.
It definitely would. And I'm all about it. It's just like, you know, as you know, you always got to look at the trade for both sides. It's like, does Miami need a pass rusher? They could use one most likely. Could Zach Ertz fit there? Of course. He's a better than their tight end. First round pick is good, but now you're looking at Xavier Howard with 10 interceptions on a season, and he was a second round pick, but he's not a second round player no more. You know what I mean? Look at this. Tom Brady was a 6th round pick, Hall of Fame quarterback. You know what I mean? If somebody would have traded for him in his prime, they would have had to give up 3 first rounds. Because you were drafted outside of that thing, he's playing at an elite top 3 cornerback in the game, so he's going to command a heavy dose of draft capital and or pick players. You know what I mean? And you got to look at Miami, knowing the Zach Ertz situation, knowing the Derek Barnett situation. Hey, why not wait it out? I can get Barnett next year because maybe the Eagles won't sign him back. You know what I mean? So it's like, these guys are deep analytical thinkers. They're like, Zach Ertz next year, he's out. He's probably out this season. They're going to cut him. Derek Barnett, 5th-year option, $10 million. They're going to let him go too.
But the other side of that, and that's going to be, he's mad that Jones is making more money than him.
That would change.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
he might not play. He might be like, oh man, y'all just gonna play me like that.
If it gets to a holdout, that's when you start raising your eyebrows. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he's holding out, he's doing this, because now it's more of a players can speak their mind and start to do it. It started with the NBA heavy, but it's kind of translating over to the NFL a little bit. Not as much. It's still more of an organizational decision rather than a players league like the NBA is. But you've seen AB throw fits, get out. You're seeing guys like Hopkins. Well, maybe I don't know if Hopkins was throwing a fit, but they traded him because of the whole, couldn't get it done. It's been leaning that way. Look at Tom Brady got out with, being on the wrong page, but
Aaron Rodgers right now.
Aaron Rodgers looks like he has a chance to get out. But it's going to take Xavier Rhodes saying, I'm not playing until y'all pay me. And then they say they can't pay him. That's what it's going to take. Because if they can patch, their priority is to patch it up. You know what I mean? He's too good of a player.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, if they did, what do you think would be a fair trade to get him over here?
It's going to take more than a first round pick.
Would you give him 2 of our first round picks for Xavier Howard in his prime? And then you don't have to draft a corner next year. At least you don't have to do it the first round next year.
No, but I got to know his contract and how many years he has on it. That's all what I would have to know, just because I got to know how long until I got to pay him again, and this, that, and the third. This is a corner league. You need corners. I would do pretty much whatever it took to get a guy like that, because even though you can get a Stingley or these guys in the draft, you never exactly know how they're going to pan out. Proven youngish talent is always better than draft picks.
Yeah. All right. Like you said, what about Gilmore? We got these practices coming up with the Patriots. You think Howie's going to take a look at Gilmore over there in practice? Be like, let's see what we can work out. Because I don't think he will cost as much, in a trade.
Nah, I don't think so.
I'd even be able to get him with a second.
Yeah, when rumors first came out about him being upset about money and Belichick thinking about letting him go, a second round pick was kind of all it was really talking about. At this point, it's like, being in each other's ears, looking, listening. I would definitely throw it out there. I think the Eagles inquired about it when the rumors were swirling. It just goes to but we can't get fleeced. That's the only thing. We can't get fleeced. Yeah. This team is a team that got to really look at the future. As much as we want to win now, and I'm all for it, signing a guy like Kerrigan who's older, signing the Anthony Harris's 1-year deal and stuff, we got to look at the future and how do you maintain a team with draft picks? Because if you sign these free agents and pay these guys, the cap is only going to go up so much. You're going to run out. The best teams have talented players on cheap contracts. That's when they get the free agents on heavy contracts. And by the time the free agents are moving on, they got to pay their guys. But now they move on, so these guys get paid. It takes that salary, and hopefully you got a new bunch of young, talented guys on cheap contracts. That's why every pick is 4 years until you got to pay them, and the first-round pick is with a 5th-year option. So We got to get younger and think about some of our best players: Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Big Play Slay, Ronnie McLeod. These guys are getting older, and we're going to have to replace them with younger and young, talented players. And that's why the immediate future with the rebuild is more like a retool, and I'm okay with it. But we really got to watch what we do, and we got to hit these drafts. The next 3 years drafts are the most important. See, when you're winning Super Bowls or always going to the playoffs or you're competing, the draft's still important, but it's not like do or die. You can survive a bad draft. But where you're at, when you're at where we are right now, with the capital, with guys who are going to be fading away, it's never been this important. So I would take a look at Stephon Gilmore. I would look at Howard if he was available for somehow he just demands out. But if we want a cheap fix-it deal with a chance to grow, Steven Nelson, he's not a lockdown corner, but he's better than anything we're going to throw out that we already have. And think about this way. People are saying, like you, we can survive with the cornerback play now because of disguise and things, blah, 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 blah. And I agree. You know, you bracket coverage and they have a lot of safety help out off the other side, and Big Play Slay, he'll get help, but he kind of commands his own side a little bit, not every time. No. But here's the thing. We're so thin at CB2. What happens if a guy goes down? You know, you're okay with, you know what, maybe Avonte Maddox can do it. Maybe Jaquette can do it. So maybe if only one of them is good enough to maybe do it, and then he goes down, what happens then? Big Play Slay goes down. Now what? You're talking about we didn't have a CB2, then the no CB2 got to go to CB1, and the guy who couldn't beat CB2 out has to go to CB2. So just having Steven Nelson here for the sake of injury is very important. You have to have depth at certain positions, and CB is one. We need a CB2. That has to be addressed. But what happens when the depth comes? What happens when somebody goes down? It's most unlikely that these guys are not going to get nicked up at least a little bit. Right. Not going to fake wood and all that good stuff. But, you know, we're talking about Big Play Slay, and we'll have to just disguise something over here. An injury or two in the secondary, and oh my God, are we getting barbecue chicken? So, you know, I wouldn't mind having a Steven Nelson and another. Like, you can never go wrong signing free agent or any type of quality secondary. You can never go wrong.
But do you really think, like with the younger guys I'm talking about, like from last year that we picked up, like since, you know, Schwartz played that defense, you know, left them on these islands, we got to see the worst of them. Do you think there still is upside since they are still young and they are going to have a different system behind them, and maybe some of these guys could be good?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely upside. Like I said, Avonte Maddox in the slot, I think if we gave him a fair chance, he'd be good. I think he's not as great on the outside. And to go off One Tree Rock's comment, that's half the team in the league, though, Philly Mike. Yes, but here's the thing. What I'm saying is this. There's definitely upside in the CB room when it comes to youth. But we don't know what McPherson is. Michael Jaquette being a rookie free agent, a rookie undrafted free agent last year, got exposed at times, showed some signs. You're going to be able to survive a little bit. What I'm saying is, though, another team, if you go through the other team's depth chart, they probably got guys who we don't know, but they're comfortable with. We can't physically say we're comfortable with Jaquette. We can't say we're comfortable with McPherson. We can't say we're comfortable with the guy we signed from the Colts, that's Shaquille Taylor. We can't say we're comfortable with Avonte Maddox on the outside because these guys haven't got opportunities. Now, another team like the Dolphins, who Xavier Howard goes down, that's a big loss, but you don't know what you have there. And here's the thing. If you're sitting on the bench because Xavier Howard and Byron Jones are better than you, then you still might have some talent. But if you're sitting on the bench because Michael Jaquette has better talent than you, well, then behind, you know what I'm saying? So if Michael Jaquette is your starter and he's a C- on Madden, you know what I mean? Let's just do this. That means everybody below him has to be less than a C-. But if Xavier Howard's an A and Byron Jones is an A, you might have a lot of B- and C's behind them. They just can't see the field because of that. So you got to look. And I'm not on everybody's roster to really look deep down. But there's a reason why we took a guy named Meadows from the Vikings. We signed Josiah Scott from the Jags. We signed Shaquille Taylor from the Colts. We are not confident in the cornerback room besides Slay. If so, we wouldn't have went and just said, Jaguars, help us. Vikings, help us. Colts, help us. You know what I mean? That's why I think we should have been more prepared in the secondary, because think about this too. We talk about the linebackers and everything, right? We're going to be playing a lot of dime. You play dime, you have 4 or 5 secondary pieces. You only have 1 or 2 linebackers on the field. All the secondary is important, whether it's safety or corner. And I think we can disguise it, but we have to stay healthy. And I still think you got to make a signing.
And I think Jacoby Steve is helping out with that. Since they did move him to linebacker, I can see him playing both, like sliding back and forth in that defense.
Hybrid.
A lot of people not really talking about him, but he is a ball hawk. He is a playmaker. Most of them LSU boys do a good job in the NFL too. So I'm hoping he can do something. But I do agree. Out of that, I will say I do still want Howard. Like I said, if there's a way to get Howard, get him. But like the smarter move would be to go ahead and get like a Gilmore from the Patriots too. If we can pull off a trade with that, because if we can keep all 3 of the first round picks, get Gilmore, draft one of these young bucks in the draft next year. He has Slay and Gilmore to train them up. Get them ready for the NFL game. Then maybe in the second round pick another young buck, because the cornerback position looks pretty deep. Now they got to play this year. But it's looking pretty deep this year. So you can potentially have your future in next year's draft with our draft picks,
Yeah, gotta hit. That's something that we, strangely are up and down with. And look, I don't really want to say this. And I love the Landon Dickerson pick, and I'm going to be watching him, but I'm also going to be watching what Sante Samuel Jr. does. I'm not going to say that I would have took him 100% over Dickerson now, knowing what Dickerson can do, and an offensive lineman, you got to build through the trenches. But I'm going to keep my eye out on the Asante Samuel Jr. And supposedly, little reports I heard from a couple people, he's having a pretty good so far in training camp. Now, you get these rumors around, and people, look, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside had a good showing in all-season stuff one time, so you can never hold them positive. But, I mean, my thing was, we should have addressed the CB position sooner than the 4th round. Shout out to McPherson. He has a long line of a long bloodline of like cross country and just athletic family, and I hope it translates. And there's things I like about his tape.
JG seemed to be pretty excited about him too when he talked about him. So. And more that he's a new coach and he's just trying to get all his team hype, all his people in the secondary hype. Like, yes, he's doing great. I have no problem with him playing in the game just as his little coaching thing. Or do you think he's serious about it? Like the boy can play, you know what I'm saying? And I think, he's going to get out there and ball out.
I think a little bit of both. But at the end of the day, you got to help these guys out, and you got to know what these players do good. Like, I think we're going to do a better job of player development throughout these guys' career, and we're going to put them in better favorable spots. If a guy can't, he guards short, like Jacoby Stevenson, he's a ball hawk and a tackler in the short, around the box, but you don't want this guy playing single high out there deep down the field. He gets his job done, around a line of scrimmage, watching tight ends and running backs out the backfield and stuff. So you got to put these guys in favorable positions, and we'll see. But JG, coached up some CBs. I mean, Xavier Rhodes, a guy who I said was over the hill and through the woods, went to the Colts and he revived his career a little bit. So I'm hoping the ex-DB coach really can coach up the secondary in this whole fixing the defense situation.
What do you say? Jaquette 6'2", be great in this cover 3. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying too. It's like these guys, we really don't, what happened last year. And we know there's a lot of different things that go along why it happened to him last year. You know what I'm saying? From the scheme to not being coached right, to not being trained right, and all this other stuff. But what if this guy's a baller? Like you said, you might have a CC behind you. You know what I'm saying? But what happened if McPherson, just because he's in the fourth round, doesn't mean he can't come out and ball this year. What happened if McPherson ball? Then you got Jaquette behind him. You know what I'm saying? To come in and if anybody gets hurt and he can ball. Like I said, the system can help out. You said we're gonna be running a lot of dime. You know what I'm saying? So you look at like they're gonna have help all over the field. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
All over the field there. So it's not like we're gonna see him on that island. So I feel like you're a pro. You better be able to handle that little square in the field guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got the whole field, but you better be able to handle that quarter. That's your
Yeah.
quarter. And like you said, Stevens could, I think, definitely should come in. Like he's one player that I don't think a lot of people are talking about coming in and having an impact his rookie year. Like, I see him as being an impact player just because like you said, he's that up in the box type guy. But I think he can take tight ends, tight end flags, tight end outs, stuff like that, and be able to guard some of the best little tight ends in that little area. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. And like you said, listen, it's not like, when you roll out McPherson and Jaquette and all these guys, there can easily be a diamond in the rough type player like Jaquette, who Jaquette showed some good stuff. Remember now, 6'2", and you love that about him, but he was a undrafted rookie free agent. And so a lot of teams passed up on him multiple rounds.
Mm-hmm.
However, I saw some bright spots from him before getting cooked in the Dallas game. And so you got to take the good with the bad with these young players and coach them up. Like 6th-round picks turn into Hall of Famers. Not often, but it can happen. A la Brady, a la Antonio Brown. Jason Peters was an undrafted player.
What
Jason
about
Kelsey. Huh?
McLeod too, undrafted too?
McLeod, Anthony Harris was undrafted. Was I just saying? What is his name? Anthony Harris was undrafted. So these guys come out and play. You just gotta play. You gotta develop them, and that's something we lacked for a long time. And we just got to get back to doing what we need to do. Coaches need to coach, players need to play, and it's next man up. So Jaquette came in and actually played good and when he had to come in for somebody. Just that Dallas Cowboys game, he got exposed. But there's definitely going to be somebody who surprised us in the secondary. I'm just waiting to see who it is.
That's why I like what they did, the earlier camps. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do all the 707s, they didn't do all that. They just took the fundamentals. And I think that's going to be something that takes our team a little bit farther than the rest, because now, they got the fundamentals out of the way. Come training camp, they were like, hey, we taught you everything you need to know, so you have no excuses once camp come of why you don't know where, positions and techniques or where you should be. Because we sat there for the whole time while everybody else was doing 707s. We were teaching you guys fundamentals to get you fundamentally sound and fundamentally ready for the season.
Exactly. And the fundamentals come in handy, especially when you're dealing with a group of young guys like the Davion Taylors, the Sean Bradleys, the Michael Jaquettes, the McPhersons, fundamentals at an NFL level, understanding concept. Why? A lot of these guys get off their God-given talent. McPherson, he gets beat on a jab step. I got the catch-up speed because I'm going against Pac 10 wide receivers, you know what I mean? But in the NFL, it's different. So it's all good to get the total knowledge and tools. And like I said, for the wide receivers, Nick Sirianni hovering over them, even though he's the head coach, is a great thing. And for the DBs, which is definitely a question mark, it's good to have a guy like JG, so because he spent his career coaching defensive backs. Now he has to worry about the whole defense, but his go-to position, his go-to teachability and developing still lies in the secondary, and that's what we need. So it's definitely good to have a guy like that running your defense.
What do you think about Kayvon?
According to Vic, he has to break out because Victory's a year late. He told me he was going to break out last year. Shout out to my guy Victory. I remember we were doing a live stream with Battlebirds podcast, and Victory was pressing the issue every time, right, Vic? Don't try to change it now. My man was all over him. And listen, I still have high hopes for Kavon Wallace. There's a lot of talking on Twitter, but I do see the potential and the talents there. Brian Dawkins definitely gave him his blessing coming out of Clemson. So I hope that he does break out.
Do you think he'll start game one if McLeod not ready?
Oh yeah.
No.
I put Kevon Wallace with Anthony Harris and One Tree Rock. I do agree. Jermichael Quett, part of him getting exposed was because Jim Schwartz was just like, ha 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 ha, stay out there by yourself, which is disgusting. So you're right.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be exciting, man. I cannot wait for camp to get here, man. I want to see some of these battles break down. I want to see if Mailata gonna keep the start. You know, I think some. I really think Sweat has a chance to start if he tears it up. By
Hey,
at least
over Barnett, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing keeping Barnett in would be the money factor. But if Nick Sirianni gets a little bit more command than Doug Peterson, just because of the fact that how we saw how bad it turned out last year, let the players who perform play. Derek Barnett could be the rotational piece. And then the future. The future is Sweat, and you move on for Barnett next year, but he can still be a key rotational piece. And part of Barnett's problem is his attitude and him being a little lazy. So maybe more upside comes out if he gets less snaps. I don't know. You don't want that going forward, but it can make him have a better overall year and stay healthy this season. I think the rotation on the D-line is important.
Because Sweat had more sacks last year, didn't he, than Barnett?
Not sure off the top of my head.
Okay. But either way, like you said, the rotation, we have some solid DNs, man, rotating in. Kerrigan coming in, Barnett, Sweat, you got the rookie Jackson. Hopefully get some PT this year, Should be exciting, man. Should be exciting. What do you think about if Fletch? That's another good question I have for you. You think if Fletch don't have a good year this year, we'll move on from him next year?
That's hard. Yeah, I mean, he's going to cost too much money. You would have to be take a pay cut or move on. Here's the thing, though. The best GMs know how to move on from a player a year before they go south, because if you move on them when they go south, their value's totally destroyed or too low, and it's almost like cutting them. You don't get nothing from it. So, I think Fletcher, who was banged up last year, is going to have a pretty good season, but he is on the latter part of his career. But I mean, people like to give him a lot of crap, but this team is not the same, especially against the run when he's not there. The dude just chews up so much space, so versatile, lacking the pass rush, but we haven't had as much help on a D-line, and he's been banged up. So I'm interested to see what he does this year. But yes, for him to stay next year, the Eagles are going to have to be good, and he's still going to have to work with us on some money.
Yeah. And that's what people say, because I think what people get mad at is they're like, well, he gets double and triple team, but they're like, hey, Aaron Donald does too, and everybody wants to say that he's number 2, Aaron number 1, Fletch number 2. Then why isn't he getting the same production? Like Aaron had 20 more sacks over the last 3 years than Fletch.
Yeah, I still think, again, they use Aaron Donald differently. They move him around. Aaron Donald, he gets to move around, do a little bit more free stuff. And Aaron Donald, when it comes to pass rushing, is a mile ahead of Fletcher Cox. That's why he's the number 1 and Cox is the number 2. But Cox is still better than Aaron Donald at stopping the run. But here's the difference. Aaron Donald's an A+ at against the pass rush, and A- against the run, and Fletcher's an A+ against the run and a C+, B-. So that's where the difference comes. But to me, there's no better run stopper. There's some noses out there that play in the 3 technique that get credited for so much, but Fletcher is just a monster down low. What he doesn't offer in the pass rush, he sure does offer in run defense. And there's a reason why we were 3rd in sacks last year. If Fletch not getting them, he's opened up the gates for other people.
That's for sure. What do you think about Hargrave?
He got to step up, man. This guy's getting paid.
He's right up there with Fletch and him. Some people say that, he's up there. I don't know if I put him that high.
I wouldn't put him that high. He's getting paid high, though, so he has to perform. When it comes to Hargrave, we got him from the Steelers because of his dominance, but he came from the Steelers playing a 3 technique at the nose. And now we're asking him to play alongside of Fletch. it might sound easier, but he's used to playing the nose. But we started to see signs from him at the end of the season. He was hurt early, got back in early, couldn't really get his feet under himself. But I'm expecting bigger things from Hargrave. We need that Timmy Jurgen type production Super Bowl year on side of Fletch. And again, everybody's job should be a little bit more easier. I'm looking for Kerrigan to play small role, but to come in and be impactful like a Chris Long did for us. So to me, to really answer your question, if the Eagles stink this year, which you say there's no possibility, but if we come out the gate really stinking and we have to look at the deep future and we stink, but we see bright spots from our young players and our coaching staff where we know this is what we got to build, but we got to build a long way. Well, then anybody who's over 30 and getting paid top dollar has to be looked at. Yeah. You know what I mean? If we stink.
Like Lane Johnson, his contract's getting ridiculous. Like we don't push back so much money on Lane, man. Whew. But I think this year is going to be different because we do have the depth at the line, on both sides. No matter who wins that Malata thing, you got the other one to back them up. You got Landon Dickerson to back up Sam Malu or Kelsey. You had Jack Driscoll who played some good ball last year. Roth, I think his name, played some good ball. Herbert played some good ball last year. So it's not like we don't know. Like those guys were young coming in last year. So yeah, they had their stumbles, but by the end of the season, they started getting it together, especially once big other pieces came in, if they started getting their stuff together. So I think this year it's really excited to see what they can do, because like I said, Jalen's never even played with the starters yet, that starting line. And when they're together, like you always say, when that right side's together, 80%, my dog.
80%. And we need them to stay intact for the majority of the season. But you're right also. People don't understand. They were like, how can your backups be good when you had your backups in last year and you said you were a hardball offensive line? Because the backups to the backups to the backups, everybody got hurt. You know what I mean? Yeah. Driscoll coming in, he gets hurt. Herbert comes in, he gets hurt. Mm-hmm. We had to sign a guy by the name of Jamon Brown who actually sacked his own quarterback. Like, can you believe that? He legitly tackled Carson Wentz. Huh?
Oh, man. That's so our offensive line was on the C team.
That was horrible. And like you said, last year, it's so hard to grade anybody because it was just a domino effect of everybody playing bad and making the person to your left and right look bad. Like, are they really this bad, or is it because of everything? Because it's not the NBA, it's not the MLB. This is the ultimate team game. You know what I mean? You can't take over the game. You can't play offensive defense. You can't do this and that. You need your brothers around you when you have 14 different offensive line combinations. Like Jason Kelsey snapping the ball over the quarterback's head multiple times. That's on him too, but maybe he's flundering getting the call to these guys. They're not understanding him. Like, there's so many aspects.
He's trying to train them on the line. You got this. You got this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's so many things, people just say Jason Kelsey, bad year, snapping over his head. There's things that could have affected it. And because you got 11 guys, you got 11 different guys on the field and they got to orchestrate everything together. So, I'm just hoping that there's a better morale in the locker room, because you've seen it was like heads down. Every Sunday when Carson and Doug were together was just like dreadful. We saw a glimpse of hope when Hurts came in, and it still came down to, if we beat Dallas, we're in the playoffs. And I wanted to beat Dallas. Looking at it now, I'm happy we didn't, because we were such a dumpster fire anyway, and it got us Devontae Smith. But in the moment, I wanted to get the dub, and we almost did until Doug in the collapse.
Yeah. You think Doug deserved another year? All right, what he done?
I would have gave him another year off the principle of a Super Bowl, but once he started preaching, I want my same coaching staff and stuff, I said, nah, man, you don't really want it.
I think that's what happened. I think he got that Super Bowl success too fast. Because then he was he wrote that book, and he came out like, my word's gold. I can do it. My offense is number one, and he didn't realize, like people were saying, Frank Wright had a big part of that offense, you know what I'm saying? And that development of Carson that year, so he let Frank go. And then next thing you know, every year after the Super Bowl, our team was going down. It was like down. We made the playoffs. What, 8 wins? I think it was, or that next year, or it's 9 wins.
We made the playoffs the next year as a wild card.
Yeah. So I think we're at 8 or 9 wins that year, and then the next year, what we won? We made it at like 6 or 7 wins, right?
Nah, it was 9 wins
For both years.
Yeah.
So it was 9-9 both times. But it's like, the team didn't seem as good.
No. Every year after the
like
Super Bowl, we got worse.
Yeah. And then last year, 4 wins. So if your offense is so great, Mr. Book Writer, where's it at? You know what I'm saying? I think with our healthy offensive line this year, there's a possibility we could have a top 10 offense, top 5, if everything goes great. You know what I'm saying?
So you wouldn't have gave him another chance?
No. I think no. I was done with him. Hey, I was done with Carson too for being a baby. Like you can't, like you can't get paid $30 million. You can put Aaron Rodgers behind me and get, as long as you gave me $30 million, because that was their show of faith to you. They paid you $30 million a year, straight up. Hey, you're one of the highest paid quarterbacks. That's our faith. Now let us do our job and stop paying these high ass second string quarterbacks in the league, giving them $8, $9, $10 million, and let us draft a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts was a good pick in the second round. I thought it was a good pick. Yeah, we could have got some other needs.
At the time, I still can't support it.
But you look at it like this. I always tell everybody, if we did use that for a receiver, right, and Carson got hurt, we're back in the same spot. No quarterback.
True.
We're looking like what happened to Dallas last year when Dak went out.
Yeah, but look, at that time, you just put the pen to paper and giving this man a contract. You got to give him everything. But 2020 hindsight, I'm with June. I think Jen's gonna prove that he's legit and able to secure the spot. But I ain't with him on the harder games early, easier games later. I understand that you saying he's gonna get his NFL acclamation and start rattling off these wins, but the Philly fans, the Philly media, when you stumble out the gate, they tend to go a little extra. Now I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt all the way up to like week 7, 8. You know what I mean? Just seeing what plays. I mean, context is different, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt if they come out a little bit bumpy, but a lot of people won't. With that being said, I would have liked if he had some easier games, rattle off some W's, get that confidence, that hashtag rare breed mentality, and take it to another level. But it's going to be interesting. I do believe, some quick passes, and you got to utilize his legs. Part of the package of Jalen Hurts' playmaking skills is utilizing the legs, not just saying, hey, Jalen, if you drop back and you don't see it, go ahead and do you. But I'm talking about some design quarterback runs. The dude's deadlifting 620. Let him take some lick, guy.
He's gonna be breaking tackles left and right, stiff arming people, man. He's a beast. What other quarterback deadlift 650? You know what I'm saying? I don't even think none of them in the league.
But I'm also gonna be, because he's a quarterback, I'm gonna be like, yo, don't even though I know he can take the hit. I need him to play all 17. You know what I mean?
But watching this highlight, you see Jalen can slide. Carson didn't know how to slide. Jalen
makes a smart decision.
Boom, thank you. Like I see a lot of his rushing yards coming from just him taking off. 10 yards, 7 to 10 yards, and just sliding. Okay, not getting hit. Taking off, hitting out of bounds real fast. Okay, not getting hit. Like, I don't see him taking as many hits as Carson Wentz when he goes to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Carson didn't know how to slide. He kept jumping forward and looking ridiculous when he tried to slide.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yo, listen, if you really watch that Saints game, the way we used the RPO in that Saints game, the fact that Miles Sanders was stiff arming Malcolm for a 70+ yard touchdown, the combination of the linebackers jumping for the RPO and Jalen having open windows, then they go to Jalen and Miles having open windows. I can't wait to see the RPO used to benefit Miles and Hurts' legs. But like, the escapability last year was great. Like, and that's what I'm talking about upside. Jalen Hurts played 3.5 games. And although you could pull some stinkers with fumbles and interceptions and him not progressing, what rookie doesn't have that? And it heightens it in a sense that everybody around him was bad. The O-line was bad. The coaching was bad, and it was a COVID season, so he couldn't really even get acclimated there, and he was the backup. It's not like he was Burrow or Herbert, who had multiple games and got to go through his lumps early. He took his lumps at the end when everybody was hungry. With that being said, I got to say this. You're still seeing a handful of beautifully highlight level plays. Like the escapes, he's done. I mean, just up the middle. Like there was remember, I forgot what game it was. I think it was the Cardinals game. Fourth and like 6. The way he escaped up the middle, the shoestring tackle he broke, like the touchdown he did where he got caught at the 3 and stretches out.
Yeah,
these are things that, like these are highlight plays. So the upside is there. What I have to see from Hurts is the drop back and win with your arm consistency at times, the progression through the games, not the heavy first quarter and the soft second and third, the heavy first half and the soft second half. So he got to be better to finish the games, and he got to complete more passes. That's where Nick Sirianni comes in and gets the run game to help him at the end of the games and the short passing game to help him complete passes. But he can make the throws. We saw the back shoulder fades to Alshon. We saw the deep ball off the run, off and one foot.
And the man's clutch. How many 4th down conversions did he complete? And how many of them were touchdowns?
His first touchdown was a 4th down against Green Bay.
No pressure, just okay, boom, 4th down, baby. Thank you, coach. I feel like in areas where Carson failed at, Jalen's not gonna fall in. I think Jalen was built for pressure, and that's why he's good for our city, because we're gonna put that pressure on you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get booed. You suck. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Jalen, you suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think Carson probably takes it like, oh, man, I'm going to pray about it and see what, God puts in my life to help me get through this situation. Hurts is a beast, man. He's like, yeah, I messed up. Next play. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got another play to show you. Watch this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time he made a mistake, he also made some great plays to back it up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Well, hey, man. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for being here, man. It was a great show today. Thank Philly Mike. If you haven't subscribed, which I know all you guys had to, this is the man right here. If you haven't, go hit that subscribe button, hit the like, comment, post notification bell, sub me up if you're not subbed up to Birdgang Nation Sports Talk. You know what I'm saying? We're moving up the ladder. We're trying to do big things this year. We're definitely going to have a lot of fire content coming your way. So, hey, thanks for joining me today. Philly Mike, go ahead and give them a little run of where they can find you at, me dog.
You already know I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast. And yes, I did drop this link in my community post. So I see a couple of my guys and June Rodriguez, infamous 2K, even though I know he's on that Watson train, you know what I mean? But shout out to him. You know what I mean? He was a Carson supporter, Watson supporter. If Hurts proves him right, he'll follow suit. He's on that I got to see it to believe it train. But listen, if you rock with me, you rock with him. Hit that subscribe button to his channel. Hit the like button. I see we got 15 likes already. That's good stuff. And, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah, definitely got to do some more stuff once the season gets started, buddy. Get another one in with you. All right. Well, like I always say, fly, Eagles, fly. Until next time, we out.